What do you reckon about potholes? They've been the bane of my life for many years, and I'm sure you at home. But the Transport Secretary now has declared war on them and pledged to fix an additional 1 million potholes across England in each year of this Parliament.
Well, to do this, Louise Haigh has vowed to use cutting-edge repair technology to battle what she has dubbed a plague.
So are those potholes sending you potty? We're joined now by pothole campaigner Mr. Pothole himself, Mark Morrell. Good morning, Mark. Thanks for joining us. What's the issue with potholes? Why are they such a bane on our lives? What's the problem with just, as in Japan, they come in overnight, they fill holes, they build bridges in a matter of hours, and then it's all finished? Why do we have such a problem with potholes?
Because of decades of underinvestment. There's a £16.3 billion backlog in road maintenance in the country, and it's costing the UK economy £14 billion a year through badly maintained roads. So the pathetic pothole pledge that the Secretary of State for Transport has now come up from the election really isn't going to do anything at all. I mean, 1 million potholes when there's 11.5 million potholes and defects on our road. I mean, she really needs to understand the details. I would have hoped she would have talked to Lillian Greenwood, her future roads minister, who was very good as a chair of the select committee, Transport Select Committee, when I did some work with her. But there seems to be a disconnect between what they're seeing and what the reality is. I would love to get the Secretary of State for Transport and even Lillian in a debate about the real state of our roads, because I really know it from not only myself, my followers across the country. And AI, she mentions, well, there's a free app called Stan the App that members of the public can download and use for free. Over 12,000 people have done so, and that's how we get the 11.5 billion potholes and defects on our roads. So AI is fantastic to prove the point that they've got no idea what they're doing whatsoever.
Because it feels like they're slightly sort of swerving the issue here. I mean, we don't need other technologies to find the potholes. You can see the potholes, you're driving over the potholes. Is there anything in particular that is making these potholes worse? A lot of people are blaming electric cars, the weight of these things. Is there any truth to that?
They are extra weight and they do put extra load on, but they are only going to affect a road that's in bad condition. Like weather gets blamed. Well, well-maintained roads don't get affected by weather. Now, we've had so much rainfall, potholes are appearing everywhere and getting worse dramatically over the last 3 or 4 days. So the only real answer is to resurface our roads annually, like places in Japan and others do a long-term investment. £3 billion a year extra every year resurfacing our road network. We could break this cycle. In 10 years' time, we could be saving £7 billion on the economy. So there is an economic argument to do it, but I'm afraid that's probably too intelligent for some of the people that seem to be in power.
Oh, Mark, say what you really think. Look, what's the situation with local councils? Because I remember seeing something where that if you're driving along and you go down a pothole, poof, thud, and it snaps your suspension or causes damage to your car, do councils do some sort of compensation scheme for that, or does it depend on the local authority?
No, they've all got. You've all got a right to make a claim against an authority for failure to maintain the roads. The trouble is the amount of information you have to go to prove that it was their pothole and defect. Apart from one in your DNA currently, everything else you have to give them. And then they've got a perfect defence called Section 58 of the Highways Act that says if they couldn't have reasonably known about it and done a reasonable schedule of repairs, then they will reject claims. Probably about 1% of those people who suffer damage as a result of potholes ever see any compensation. A lot of people are put off by the actual torturous route, plus the defence. I've helped hundreds of people do so. I mean, the biggest amount was £1,300 for someone who damaged a car because clearly the inspections weren't being carried out. But it took me digging in and FOIs to find out the fact that they'd failed in doing their policies. So it's stacked against the motorists. But let's not forget cyclists. One cyclist a week is killed or seriously injured as a result of potholes. It's been reported. Over 50 motorcyclists a year are killed or seriously injured as a result of badly maintained roads. There's a human cost. There's a cost to the economy. So I do not understand why they really don't grasped it properly. I've set up a day next year, 16th of June, called National Raw Day, which is Resurface Our Awful Roads Day. I intend to provide templates for letters and legal notices that I successfully used and helped others do around the country to get our roads that are out of repair resurfaced.
They make it nigh on impossible. Mark Morrell, thank you very much. He's Mr. Pothole himself. But